Hello, badge chatters, badge summiters, badge enthusiasts, anywhere and whatever draws you to this interview with Dr. Joey Fanfarelli. Really excited to have Joey with us to share his work and the new book that he just co-authored. But before we get too much into the weeds, let's just say hi, Joey. Hello, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, hello. I'm happy to be here virtually.
Well, it's awesome to have you. And, maybe since I didn't really do much other than let people know that you're a doctor and your name, you can share just a little bit about yourself and where you work and what kind of your interests are.
Sure. So I am Joey Fanfarelli, coming from the University of Central Florida, actually moving to Marist College in the fall. So I'm under transition as we speak. I got to this world because I'm a big gamer, and that's part of my identity, I would say. I've been gaming since I got my Nintendo Entertainment System at the age of 3, and that's sort of been who I am. Research, you're going to find me a lot looking at badges lately, usually with the intersection of psychology and education, and I guess that's about me.
Interesting. Before we get into what you just kind of teased us there about the psychology connection, what was the first kind of game that hooked you on the old school Nintendo?
Oh, probably the original Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, must be that.
Definitely. Although Top Gun was up there too for me.
Top Gun's okay, but it's hard to beat the Plumber Brothers.
So, I think that you kind of took me by surprise there with the psychology kind of element. Maybe you could just expand on that for us a little bit. What about, where does psychology come in for you?
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be my initial career choice. I was looking at going into clinical psychology until I realized I could be studying gaming full time. I mean, that was kind of the aha moment. But before that, I did my bachelor's in psychology. And then I realized there was this program out there called modeling and simulation. And I'm like, I could look into simulators real time. Then I realized there were serious games. And from there, it was history. So with my background in psychology mixed with my personal interest in gaming, it sort of was a natural fit for me.
Awesome. And maybe offline, I'll have to ask you if we are all actually just living in a simulation. So your book that you and Rudy co-authored is called Designing Effective Digital Badges.
Yes.
And so, you came in, with the gaming, you came in with the psychology. What kind of led you and Rudy to connect and to create this book?
Well, Rudy and I have been working together for a very long time. We published a lot beforehand on badges. And we were kind of publishing on badges and suddenly thought, hey, we could really do a book on this. We're gaining a lot of steam here. We're getting this really well-rounded view of the field, and we didn't see a full comprehensive look at the field in the book form. Lots of wonderful badging books out there, but there wasn't really anything that looked at everything, and that was sort of an authored book. And so we wanted to take everything we had and sort of make a compendium of all things badges, so that somebody who is either just getting into badges or who has been in badges for a long time and wants to expand their view, this is the book they could go to. At least that's what we sort of aimed for when we created it.
Awesome. Sorry about that. I had a second to unmute myself. I'm in a loud schoolhouse right now, and lots of faculty celebrating the end of the year. I think you touched on something there that does stand out a little bit about this book as well. A lot of books will share a lot of amazing information, like you said, about digital badge credentials. Yours is not just sharing your own genius, but also taking a look at everything that's out there, the compendium, as you said. And I'm really curious, how big of a challenge is it to make something like that maybe a lot of people would assume is for people who are more in the weeds, accessible for people who are kind of more bringing a beginner's mindset to the work?
Well, so this was sort of our task with this book, was to be able to start someone from zero, tell them what a badge is, tell them what you can use a badge for. These are actual chapters, right? What are badges for? What can you do with badges? And then also introduce all the different things you can do with badges so that you can go from sort of zero to hero with one book, right? But at the same time, it touches on parts of badges that people aren't constantly talking about. We often hear about badges as credentials or badges as rewards, but they can be so much more than that. There's so much more research out there that's looking at different ways to learn to use badges, and we hope to touch on that as well.
I know that that's definitely a topic that you plan to address at Badge Summit on June 22nd at Temple University. Folks can come see Joey and a whole bunch of other leading thinkers and doers in this space in Philadelphia, June 22nd, 2019, bit.ly/Badge Summit if you want to check that out. And for folks who aren't going to be able to make it, Joey, you know, maybe give a little preview of, you know, if people are saying, wait, they can be used beyond just credentialing and recognition, like what?
Right. So I'm going to hop into my psychology and education boots now, because yeah, there are a ton of different purposes, especially when it comes to learning or training or anything of the type. Whether it's feedback, you know, we often have this big issue in education where we expect a learner to do something, and then hopefully we're giving them feedback after they do it on their performance. Did they do well? Do they need to do better? There's something else they could work on. And badges can be used to give feedback because after all, they're information devices, right? It's a little picture that's contained with information that we can transfer from an issuer to an earner. And when we can do that, we could transfer valuable stuff like feedback, for instance. Goal setting is another one, right? We want our learners to exert their effort in the right direction. We don't necessarily want them to run really, really fast in the complete opposite wrong direction, right? You always think of a little kid playing soccer and he runs to the wrong goal as fast as he can. We don't want people to do that as they're learning. We want them to exert their effort in the proper direction. So we can help our learners by helping them set appropriate goals with badges.
I love that so much, and it really takes me, you know, just as a more classroom educator to just thinking about summative versus formative, you know, feedback, and that a lot of what we traditionally think of it is, you know, you mentioned with credentials, with recognition, that those are really kind of summative in nature. And I hear you describing things that are more formative, and that it can be used kind of in real time, as you say, to progress monitor and goal set. And that it's not just something that it can be used to communicate what you've already done to other people, but to actually help communicate with the learner themselves where they're going before they've gone too far astray, perhaps.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very cool. You know, Joey, if people want to check out the book, how do you prefer that they find it? Is it Amazon? Is it directly through your publisher? What is the best way for folks to do that?
I mean, both are fine. You could go directly to Routledge's website and find it there. It's also on Amazon. So whatever is easiest for people to get to.
Excellent. We'll definitely add the link to the comments of the YouTube page as soon as we're done recording here. And Joey, for folks who want to connect with you, they've said, my God, I got to meet this guy. I'm going to do a pilgrimage to Marist College in the fall when he gets there. You know, what's the best way for them to let you know they're coming instead of showing up unannounced?
Great question, because I'm in between email addresses right now. At the moment, I can be reached at joey@ucf.edu. That may change, in which case you'll have to Google me because I don't know what my email address is going to be yet. In the meantime, I'm at Joey Studies Games on Twitter, so you can reach me there too.
Excellent. Well, Joey, I can't thank you enough for giving so generously of your time this afternoon. Really looking forward to meeting you face to face just in a few short weeks in Philadelphia. Yeah. And thank you very much for being here. And thanks for everybody who took the time to watch this. And please do reach out. And you can always find us on #BadgeChat most Monday afternoons during the school year. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.